And welcome back to the Good Morning Artesia radio show. Joining us from Albuquerque, New Mexico, Mr. Phil Hauser, CEO of DSI. Good morning, Phil.
Morning, Gene.
Hey, good to have you with us. And I had to apologize to Phil. We played that promotional announcement for the Cowboys broadcast on our sister station, and there you are with a Green Bay Packer jersey in your office there. You a big Packers fan or just a fan of that player?
What's funny is I have been a Packer fan since I was in grade school. And then I brainwashed my entire family into being Packer fans. So I get the weirdest, strangest, like, what the heck happened? Because, yeah, it's miles away. And but, yeah, we're big-time fans of the Packers.
Well, there's some around here, and years ago we used to do a show on the radio called The Cheap Seats, and it was a sports talk show, and we had our play-by-play guy and another gentleman that did some work for us, and they were big Cowboys fans. And the week of the Cowboys versus Packers game that year, there was a big event in Artesia, and we were actually broadcasting the show from out in front of the building. We had some bleachers set up. We had a few folks watching the show while we were set up out in front of the station. And so we had it staged. I got a hold of one of the Packers fans, and he showed up that night unbeknownst to the hosts. We had a ladder at the back of the building. He got up on the roof, and he appeared on the roof of the building above the two Cowboys fans as the Packer Bandit. And he had his cheese head on, and he had his green cape on, and he had his
that's awesome
mask, and he had two big sacks of green and gold confetti, and just dumped it on top of the Cowboys fans.
That's perfect.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with the Packer Bandit. So
it's good stuff.
It is. Well, I got to ask you. We'll start on the interview, Phil, with DSI. Kind of cover a little bit about the different products that DSI provides, because I want to ask you how that has changed, or how your business has had to change in the era of COVID, because it's affected everybody.
Certainly. Kind of going back, I've been in the office equipment industry for 36 years. I started counting. I'm like, holy moly. My daughter always makes fun of me because I get stuck on a year. She says, Dad, that changed like 5 years ago. But time flies when you're having fun. It is kind of serendipity. We started this business back in 97 in a 10 by 10 office. And I left corporate America on the office equipment side, and we started a remanufacturing facility for toner cartridge remanufacturing. And that was kind of when it was really new to the industry. And so that was really the catalyst for getting DSI started. DSI was formerly Document Solutions Incorporated. And 3 years ago, rebranded the company because it really didn't speak to who we are today.
Right.
That's still the core engine of our business. But in light of the things that are going on today, it's really been a blessing that we have diversified the way that we have, because in the midst of, the crisis throughout the country and throughout our communities, we've actually gotten busier. So we've been in an industry that, our products are now very relevant to the marketplace. We've been, one of the new divisions that we created is security. And, we've been working with thermal camera technology for the last 3 to 5 years. And we were actually approaching school systems with the idea that, it could really mitigate spreading the common virus known as the flu, right?
Right.
Temperature detection. Mm-hmm. And so we were encouraging schools to place this in entrances and things like that to recognize, because it can detect up to 3 people at one time, their temperature. And so if they've got a high temperature, they could be sent to the nurse's office. Lo and behold, the pandemic hits. And then we're introduced to another brand new technology called GoSafe. And you're going to get an illustration of that on the video that we provided. But it really is an exceptional technology that really is taking the country by storm. We cannot keep this product in inventory. We've got probably just nationwide with this product, there's been about 4,000, 5,000 units sold within the last month and a half.
Wow.
In our own state, I think we've got orders for, close to 300 plus devices. So it really is an exceptional technology. It reminds me of when I first got in the copier business, so to speak. That was back in the early 80s, and no one had plain paper copiers. It was all treated paper technology, and so this new evolution of plain paper copier was like, oh my gosh, right? And so you could actually walk into a place of business and they were buying that product on the spot because it was that revolutionary new technology.
Right.
Now, back then we used to pray that your copier would work because it was so manual in nature. And it was such new technology. So, when they started introducing automatic duplexing and all these different features, you were literally like, you were in a demonstration and you were like, please work. Now, of course, this technology has evolved and people are, doing all these graphics and high-end technology of what you used to go out to try to purchase, and you have that in-house capability. So it's that, the imaging and copier technology has really evolved, and it's, becoming somewhat commoditized. And hence, 3 years ago, that was the whole idea behind rebranding Document Solutions Incorporated to DSI, because we had added an IT division where we're doing full managed network services throughout the state. So we're managing close to 5,000 PCs throughout the state of New Mexico. We've got just a brilliant team. Jason Bradley, our director of IT, has done a tremendous job really directing that part of our company.
Yeah.
We have, and literally we're covering the state of New Mexico in that.
Well,
sector.
now with so many things being done remotely and the technology that we have now to do all these things, you've probably moved back into the 10 by 10 building because you wondered, do you need all this space anymore? So you kind of were moving in that direction with your company. Did you see business moving in that direction? What I'm talking about is the remote operations, because that's really the COVID kind of just kicked it into high gear, this remote way of doing business. You kind of guessed right, didn't you? You were out.
Well, we were very fortunate in that we had diversified. Your traditional imaging copier dealer, if that's all they're concentrating on, those are really kind of going by the wayside.
Mm-hmm.
We belong to a group called Select Dealer Group, and there's about 40 principal dealer owners, and we meet and share best practices 3 times a year all over the country. And of course, those meetings have gone virtual now because we're not, traveling throughout the country any longer.
Yeah.
But really, it's that shift to try to, if you're that traditional copier dealer moving into the IT space, it's a difficult transition. There's a lot of moving parts to it. And then, you add the piece. I hired a guy that had been in the business of alarms and security, and I hired him to really sell copiers. Well, every building that we walked into, he's looking at cameras and I'm looking at copiers.
Right.
And so we went to one of our manufacturers' conventions about 5 years ago, and they introduced this technology called Mobotics. It's a manufacturer called Mobotics that manufactures security products, camera products that are very sophisticated. And that was, about that time was when all of the tragedies were taking place throughout the country with regard to schools and active shooters. And
right.
And so it became almost overnight, we were shifting gears to create solutions really to support the safety of school systems. And so that was kind of our entrance into the security business. One of the guys that was installing a TV in our outdoor kitchen at our house, I was telling him, yeah, we're going to be getting into the security business. He said, Phil, that's what I do. I'm an integrator.
Yeah.
And I'm like, be in my office on Monday morning. And so it kind of just happened serendipity wise.
Yeah.
We started that division close to 5 years ago, and it's really going to be one of the growth engines of our company.
That is amazing. We're going to talk about some of that technology in a minute. Going back to the office technology, with more and more people that are working remotely, or more and more offices that have their employees working from home and working remotely, are there some aspects of your business that you've been able to offer your clients? You know, if employees need to print things, or if employees need to share things or communicate things with their coworkers and the main office or the hub office, what are some of the things you guys have been able to help businesses out in that area?
Without question, it really prepared us as a company, just from the standpoint of not skipping a beat, because we are a technology company, and incidentally, our CFO is from Italy, and so she still has family that is in Italy, and she, of course, they were dealing with the pandemic first, and it was really hitting them hard. So
yeah,
I think she really helped, along with our operations manager, to help prepare us to go virtual and have virtual offices and be working remotely. So it not only helped us prepare to help our own clients, but it helped us internally to never really slow down or stop. So our clients throughout the state never really even noticed anything different than what we were supporting. But there are so many different applications, like with our interactive panel, that we're now providing solutions for remote learning, remote teaching, GoToMeetings, right? I mean, there's so many different applications for that in itself. But our IT business actually has grown significantly, even through the pandemic, because people need to work remotely, right? So it really has intensified that.
Yeah.
So we are providing more solutions in IT services than we ever have.
That's it's an amazing shift in the whole economy. I wonder if it's ever going to go back to the old way, or if and by the old way I mean people, employees, massive numbers of employees coming into a building, cubicles, copy stations, all that kind of stuff. I don't know if we're going to go back to that to the degree that it was just a couple of years ago.
I think companies have recognized that they can be as effective, if not more effective, in terms of giving trust and so forth to their employees. And that's what we're finding in our own organization. So I think it's important to have collaboration. I think people were made to communicate, and this remote stuff gets a little tiresome. So I really believe it's going to be a combination of both. I think we're set up now where we've just been so effective working remotely, but we still enjoy getting together.
Yeah.
And so I think it truly will be a combination of working remote and also collaboration in the workplace.
Be interesting to see how it changes. I know we've been looking at upgrading our radio station automation software, and we're a very small operation, very remote control. We've been doing remotes off-site and remote control and sporting events for years. So as I'm getting this info from some of these new automation systems, one of their key features they're pointing out to me is you can run this remotely. And I'm like, well, I kind of figured that out a long time ago. So let's talk about some other key features and see how we can go. But sometimes you just got to figure it out, and you got to make it happen.
I think the question was always, the trust that you had to employ with your team.
Yeah.
And And giving that up was a difficult thing, but everybody was forced to do it. So it wasn't like you had a choice in this particular instance. And so it's opened up a whole new opportunity for creativity.
Well, let's talk about the, I wrote it down. Here it is. Go Safe. I have it right here. I always have these papers, and then I move them around, and I forget where I put them. The Go Safe technology. So is this an offshoot or a derivative or an upgrade of the health scan software you were talking about earlier? It
is
kind of start
really revolutionary.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It is revolutionary technology that I think will be the new norm for any and all businesses, not just a specific vertical. Obviously school systems, it's been a hot topic for them because they're trying to figure out how do we get students and staff and faculty back safely, right? So it has, and it's not only in our own state. We're talking, Austin School District just ordered several units of this technology in one of their departments, and they're going to slowly look at potentially deploying that throughout their whole organization. But even in our own instance, in our own building, where we have this set up, your own employees want to know that they have a safer working environment. So people that have multiple employees where they're working together in close quarters, that kind of thing, having a check-in station where they can temperature check, validate. Our sales team, because these have been such a hot commodity, they'll go and borrow the Go Safe unit that was put in our own entryway, and people will come in and like, where's our unit? They've gotten so accustomed to it, and they appreciate the fact that they can, temperature detect for every employee that's coming in the building. So I really believe it will become a part of the new norm, whether it's a restaurant, a small business, a major corporation, some sort of enhancement to making a safer environment. You think about, even if this does have they find a vaccine for it,
right?
You still want to have, how many people come to work and they're sick and they don't know it, or they do know it, but they still come to work sick. If you can eliminate people with a temperature that's over normal and send them home prior to them spreading that, that's what happens in flu season, right? So I really believe that it will continue beyond this. I think it's brought a whole new awareness to keeping people safer and part of a new wellness program.
Well, I think some of the things that we've been reminded of, wash your hands, don't sneeze on people, these are things that we should have been doing all along. And when I read stories, it's, such and such restaurant chain is now going to deep clean their bathrooms. I'm like, well, why weren't you doing that before? Why did it take a pandemic to get some of this in place? So I think you're exactly right that some of these procedures are going to become the norm, just like you say. Do we want to watch the demo video? Do we want?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Okay, I'm going to play it on the radio. Isaiah's going to bring it up on the screen, and this is just a short, like a 2-minute demonstration of the Go Safe system. So let's do that right now. Are you ready to go, Isaiah? We're going to go ahead and mute our mics so we don't say anything that, like that senator. And let's take a listen to and let's watch the Go Safe demonstration right now.
Imaging, technology, security, and marketing solutions. We are DSI.
We are so excited at OneScreen to introduce our brand new OneScreen Go Safe body temperature and facial recognition scanner. More than just a temperature device, OneScreen Go Safe is the most reliable body temp and facial recognition scanner with live assistance, turning any public space into the safest space. Let's go ahead and take our OneScreen Go Safe for a quick test drive. Now, At this point, what happens is as soon as you get in front of the screen itself, it's going to recognize you and going to basically turn on at that point. It was just in standalone mode at that point. Now, what you'll notice is that LED light bar automatically turned on for us. The nice thing with that LED light also is that as you go through the process of scanning, it will also have different colors depending on what the outcome is. Now, what you will notice is there's a nice little white outline that you're supposed to put your face into, oddly enough shaped just like my head. Now, as I walk into the device, there's going to be a red dot. You want to place that right in the middle of your forehead, and as it takes your temperature, it's also going to then, at this point, deny me access. Why, you ask? It's because I was not wearing a mask. We happen to have that setting clicked on. Remember, guys, there's a lot of different parameters of our device, and so at that point, it's your choice on how you want to set this up. In our case, of course, we have temperature, but we also have mask recognition. So what I'm going to do is put my hospital-grade blue mask on, which is preferred. I'm now going to re-enter the screen. As I walk into this guy, again, red dot right on my forehead. Guess what? Because I have my mask on, it granted me access. Now, what you will notice is that even though I had my mask on, covering pretty much most of my face, it still was able to facially recognize me as I am in the database. Thank you so much for joining us today. That's a wrap on our overview for OneScreen GoSafe.
Imaging, technology, security, and marketing solutions. We are DSI. For more information, visit dsinm.com.
Who's the voice? Who's the young lady that's doing the voice? Is that somebody you know?
I need to ask Vincent. He's kind of been our lead. Yeah, he's done a great job.
Done
really,
a good job.
Really.
Well, so is this a security system that has morphed into a temperature health screening system, or is this a health screening system that's morphed into a security system? It looks like it covers a couple of different aspects that a business might want to incorporate into their employees coming to work every day.
So it really dovetails into both. It will actually allow for access control. So that's what I mean. Even beyond the pandemic, it has so many different features and applications. For education, I can see these as being mounted on the outside of a classroom door as a check-in. And so it's recognizing the student's face, it checks them in, does roll call, and takes care of it. And it also interacts with the OneScreen panel solution that we provide as well. So there's quite a few applications. It has artificial intelligence, as you saw, so it can tell whether you have a mask on, but it can also tell who you are in spite of having a mask on, right? Mm-hmm. So it really is pretty incredible technology.
Yeah. How many, like if you've got a school, you're trying to put on a concert or a basketball game or something like that, and you've got people flooding in through doors at a gym, it looked pretty fast. I mean, from the point that it was checking his temperature and authorized him, it looked really, really fast. But what if you're trying to move lots of people in and out of an area? How does the technology, can it work in that type of a situation?
So, in fact, we just had a talk with one of the major universities here in town, athletics, and they're talking about how do we get people back at the pit? How do we, those kinds of things. And during normal, in the course of checking people through metal detection, that kind of thing, they're already doing that. So they can have those set up as stations so that they can do the temperature detection then. We also do a combination of another technology, which I was talking to you about before, which is the robotics technology. So that can detect temperature of up to 3 people at one time. So a lot of organizations now are combining these technologies to give them just faster check-in capability.
Okay.
But also if someone were to get by one of these stations, you have some ancillary products that can support, a wider, broader range and larger area.
Yeah. Now, I have to ask you this question. Where is all this data stored? So it's doing all the scanning. It's got, if you use it as a security check-in protocol, where is that data and who has access to that data?
So we work with the individual IT departments in these organizations, so they're storing that information on site, on a network storage device.
Okay. So it's owned by, or it's controlled by the entity that deploys the technology. So it's not like it goes out there. Yeah. Because I could see some people looking at that. It's like, have you ever seen the movie Minority Report?
Yeah, I have.
You have, and so they scan your eyes, and then based on what it identifies you, and then all the marketing and the advertising and everything is all geared towards you. And then you watch this product and you go,
Well, unfortunately, I think it's the future before us. I mean, it really is. I think, you have the capability of turning that on or turning that off. So depending on what level of authentication that you want, you can apply.
Yeah.
So whether it's using facial recognition or not, you have that capability.
So is this designed for offices, or, I mean, who's the ideal customer for this? Is this, the small business that may have 20, 30 people come in a day? Is this an office with, 5, 10, 15 workers? Who do you see really benefiting from being able to deploy this technology?
Like I say, I think the technology is very competitively priced, and so it's not, and I think it could be, depending on what your circumstances are, it could be set up for the office, for your clients, restaurants, bars, really any particular environment it could be set up for. So whether it's making a safer environment for your employees or having clients actually check in, it really is dual purpose. And it, to me, I mean, ideally, if you have 5 people in an office, I don't know that would be an appropriate place to put it. I think it would be, you're talking multiple people that you'd want to have that kind of safety provision in place.
Kind of like right now when you go into the bank. And banks have lots of people. So right now they've got a table. You got to stop. A bank employee has to come around, get the little temperature thing. When they scan me, well, you don't have any temperature. So for that type of a situation, that would streamline the entry process for an entity like that, wouldn't it?
It would, because it can streamline the process, because if you're using the facial recognition, it automatically checks in and records the history of that. So right now, with the people that are taking these temperature, it's very inaccurate, and it's a very manual process to make that happen.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now you have it at your building. Is it okay to share some of the other folks that are using this technology that seem to be really benefiting from it?
Because it is so brand new, I think we're now just getting shipments in. I think we just deployed 2 or 3 of our first installations. Wow. I know Taos Schools, we just integrated this into their facility. Rax Building Supply, they have several locations here throughout the state, which is a lumber and supply company, right? So, we have hospitals, we have education. It really is across the board.
Yeah.
Of who are deploying these devices.
It's amazing. Is it sold as a product where you buy the product and then you buy service, or is it or where you lease the product and the software?
All of the above.
All of the above. Okay.
Yeah. So, if someone doesn't really want to pay cash, outlay the cash for it, we can set it up on a monthly program.
Yeah.
And that seems to be one of the most popular.
Sure. Well, it's amazing stuff, and it'll be interesting to see, how far it gets implemented and how many people use it, and to what level that they use it for. Is it, like you said earlier, is it just to check temperatures of people coming in and out, or does it morph into, depending on the type of business, an integral part of their security check in? Because I see it all the time. Offices, they have the key cards that they tap, and that already is logging their entrance in and out of the building. I'm assuming this can be incorporated into that type of a process.
The cool thing, too, is that because it does have facial recognition, instead of having to touch buttons, I mean, now we're very sensitive to, spreading the pandemic, right? And
That's
so
right. Yeah.
having it use facial recognition and be tied into your access control, how powerful is that? So it can deny or allow access into a building through integrating that into your door locks.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff. I do miss the touchpads at McDonald's. They put all those in, and now you can't touch them. And it's like, oh, I got to talk to you now? That's terrible. I'm sorry. Anything else about the GoSafe or anything else about DSI products or services you want to mention this morning?
Well, I think what we've tried to do from inception is be relevant to our partners. And, it is about creating partnerships for us. We rarely lose a relationship. And it's because I think we've added a lot of different components to what we do. So, where we were first known as Document Solutions Incorporated and providing copiers and print devices, now it's full IT services, security, interactive panels for meeting, collaboration, learning, teaching. So we have quite a few different components. Voice over IP is another solution that we provide. So I think we've really, even since the last time we spoke, have really expanded our product offerings to provide so many different capabilities, solutions, and opportunities for our partners.
Yeah. And look at us. We've even figured out how to put cameras in a studio and do Zoom calls on the radio. So
I know.
It is. It's a new norm. It's a new norm. Phil Hauser, CEO, DSI, thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate it, and look forward to having you on again real soon. If folks want to get a hold of you or whoever you'd like them to get a hold of to learn more about the GoSafe technology or any other DSI services, what should they do?
They can call us at 505-256-9579, or they can go to our website, dsinm.com. It's dsinm.com.
Okay, you got
really has all our technologies online, and you can request an invite or a call, and we'd be happy to meet with you on any of your office equipment needs.
There you go. Even get a meeting with Steve if you're in this part of the state. He's pretty good.
That's
guy.
right.
You know what? I have a prospecting tip for Steve. If you go to the New Mexico Environment Department website, you can print out a list of all of the places that have had to have a rapid response from the state of New Mexico Environment Department on the COVID. And these are all people that probably ought to look at the GoSafe.
Good point.
So I was thinking about that. I need to send that to Steve. Say, hey, go here, talk to these people. So, all right. Thanks a lot, Phil. Appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you again real soon, okay?
And thank you very much. I appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you. You too. Okay, we're going to take a break for this update from Jared, and we'll have our